Welcome everybody. It's another episode of Wasted Wisdom. And today we're talking about some shit that, as usual, I can't explain, so you're gonna explain it, Mark.
Basically this whole idea or ideology of the high value man and the alpha male and what it means to be an alpha male and the perceptions behind all of these we call them terms or
Designations.
And it was speaking particular to a video that we watched. The roommates, right? The roommates podcast, and they were speaking to this particular young lady who was just recounting her past experience with a man who was not financially stable, and he was in college, I believe, at the time.
No, but hold on, I think they met when they were teens.
Right.
So it's like a high school or college, they get together.
Right.
Yeah.
And just to, for me, it was just me just observing the conversation and seeing how the guys were reacting to what she was saying. And so we'll just have some critiques about this whole episode, and also just the idea of what an alpha male and the high value man.
Right. But
should be.
Then first thing, did you watch the whole thing? I actually didn't watch the whole thing. I watched that clip.
I didn't watch the whole thing. I was going to watch the whole thing, and I was like, nah.
Alright.
The clip kind of turned me off.
Same. The clip was what I watched as well. By the way, like, no smoke for roommates or anything, because they do good stuff.
Yeah.
But there are certain things that they express that sometimes we're kind of like, we see that you're coming from the right place. We see that what you're saying makes sense, but then there's some things that kind of don't. I don't really get it.
And shout out to Hafiz is his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Hafiz for like at least speaking up about promoting more self-work than promoting relationship work. And that's what I realized. Hafiz, even though they do a lot of stuff about like relationships and how to get the girl and blah blah blah, they do a lot of things also about like a lot of topics on wealth creation for yourself and also just building that general
self-improvement
stuff.
Yeah, so we're definitely not saying that relationship work isn't important. We're not saying that. We're just saying that sometimes, you need to bring your best self into the relationship. And so that is the focus that he's talking about.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess we'll get into the video that we saw. So basically, one of the first things that kind of jumped out to me about that video was just the fact that, Nagala, it just seemed like a lot of the times Hafiz and Chris were trying to preempt what the girl was trying to say. And that kind of came off as not really listening to what she was saying. And so that was one of the things that kind of threw me off. This is still not really even the point. I'm just talking about just certain things. And it's something that I've kind of seen before, where it's like, and I've seen Hafiz's other videos, and I like his work, but there's just certain times where it's like, I hear what he will say, like, yo, guys, like, don't chase women, and, like, you have to know that you're also the prize, and those kind of things, very positive things. But if I must be honest, sometimes I'll watch interviews with him and girls, and his behavior seems a little different.
That's true.
And it's almost like, and this is where we kind of then got to the whole alpha argument, where it's kind of like he's trying to present himself in a certain way rather than just sitting in his natural energy and essence and just being that. That to me is the thing that throws me off, right? As a matter of fact, you know what, I just went off by saying that. My brain just was like boom, because from time I've been kind of thinking this, like, I see the type of person he actually is, right? Where he is definitely on the self-improvement thing and he really care about being a better version of himself. And honestly, I see a lot of myself in him, I'm not gonna lie. But the problem is he will do these things, say these things, and it's almost like he's trying to get certain types of chicks. But the type of chick he should be with, Minna's here. And I think he's almost like, okay, I have to go for like the high value girl, whatever that means, rather than going for the girl that actually fit him.
Right. Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
And I feel like that is the danger of this whole idea of a high value man. Because now it become highfalutin. I think that's the best word I can use. Like you start believing that, okay, because I did all this work, I must be with a 10. You understand? When in truth and in fact, I guess probably because of my own personal beliefs, I don't believe that because you put in the self-work and you have this amount of money or whatever, that means your girl would necessarily have to be that type of person. You understand? I believe it really depends on your personality and what you're compatible with.
That's exactly it. Because I can't speak to Chris, because Chris may not talk about that so much. But with Hafiz, it seems more along the lines of just like it's almost like he's trying to get a certain type of girl. It's like a socialite type, you know, very conventionally beautiful and like a model-esque type chick, right? And then I'm going to pick her up in the Maserati, Ray, blah, blah, blah. And for me, it's just like, dog, you know, the truth is you're kind of like a nerdy kind of guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can shed that identity because
and again,
I think that's who you naturally are.
Which is why, and I'm glad you mentioned it that way, because which is why every time he speaks, I'm like, yo, probably it's because I'm Jamaican. I feel like everything that you're saying, yes, in the books or on the books it sounds good, but like in practicality, you're gonna have a mesh marina man where I dig out him and Miguel. Okay, after you do all of that work, him go burn your girl.
That's the thing, dog.
You understand? And no matter how high value you want to believe that these women are, there are things that you will never be able to give them because that's just how it is.
That's exactly it. So while you are, again, this is not necessarily like we're not trying to predict the fate
right, not
the roommates.
Not the fate of Hafiz, but we're just bringing a different perspective to the whole topic. Because again, why I even stopped to listen to the young lady on the last episode was because I was like, yo, this is a representation of a lot of women. A lot of women are with guys who aren't necessarily as a high value male because they just choose to be loved by them. And and to be honest, not a lot of those relationships necessarily end badly.
Yeah, because like she said in the clip, she started off the relationship with that dude when they were like teens. Right. So basically, it's like late teens, mid-teens, whatever. And then at that time, you're not trying to build shit together. You're still living in your parents' house, going to school, and just getting an education and doing your thing. So you just like who you like because you're just attracted to each other. It's not about legacy building. It's not about, you're not thinking longevity. You're just thinking about right now. You're thinking about the feeling you have in your pants for the person and their feelings for you and all that shit. That's it. You're not thinking any deeper than that. Then you get older because they've been together, it seems like damn near half a decade or some crazy shit like that. And then she is now pre in life different. He's not pre in life that way. And as a result, the incompatibility that was not there initially is now there, putting a strain on the relationship, which eventually then was like, yo, my girl, this is what the dude said apparently to the girl. oh, it turns out, honestly, I see your hustle, I can't match that right now.
It's best for break up.
Right. But somehow the man still get through. Why? Because they were mutually attracted to each other.
Which is the point I was trying to make, where and again, this is not a knock on the roommates, because again, probably in their reality, that is true. But from my vantage point, I don't see where a lot of women only choose you because of the level you reach in your life. I'm not saying it don't happen, that's not what I'm saying, because if you get rich and you buy a 2023 series and live uptown and you live in a good life, of course women are going to always be attracted to you. But I mean, I'm talking about the average nigga. Average niggas out here getting good girls or getting high value women just because they are just attracted to each other.
Yeah, that's
you
true.
Understand? And that's just it. So that's why for me, I was like, I get what they're saying, but I feel like you're setting up a lot of people to be hurt because they might believe, okay, I did all of this, so now it's time to claim a prize, and you don't get it.
honest to that, because the thing is, we know niggas who live like that, where it's like, once I get the symbols of success, they're gonna flock me and rate. But here's the problem, right? What you don't realize is that when you're that type of person, you could open yourself up to those kind of gold digging types. You can open yourself up to those girls who them want fucking a dog, but realistically speaking, they'll marry you, but then fuck on the side.
Exactly.
Because they're not necessarily interested in fueling a relationship and commitment and monogamy. What they're interested in is being taken care of. Right? Again, we're not saying all girls are like that. We're not saying all girls who have a certain lifestyle are like that. But what we're saying is that if you treat that way, you're going to get screwed up.
Facts.
And the only way you can probably avoid that is to be upfront about the attraction and the sex. Right? Because those types of girls, they don't want to be seen as like vixens. They don't want to be seen as like, I'm kind of like a slut in a way. They don't want to be seen like that. They just want to be seen as like really classy and sophisticated, blah, blah, blah. And eventually what ends up happening is that they're still just going to fuck some grimy nigga down the road. Why? Because that's the kind of sex they really fucking like. Right? And I go on you, who's like super polished and crisp and clean.
Right.
That's a presentation for people. Right? Them just want some grimy shit. But that's just some girls. Some girls are like that. Not all. We need to say that all the time.
And that doesn't mean they're not high value.
Right.
You understand? Because the next thing is, you are looking at a woman from, what you call it now, a logical textbook equation perspective. When women are much more than that. And that's what I know I'm young, but this is what I know. They're much more than that. You understand? So when you look and you be like, okay, all right, so I lost some weight now. I have abs. I got the job. I am now financially stable. I drive a nice car or whatever. Now I'm ready to get the girl. No.
You were ready from before that. You disqualified yourself by saying you don't have these things. And that is really the danger. That is really the problem. And to be honest, I've fallen into this trap myself. Because it's like, you feel like because you don't have certain things, girl not gonna flock you. Okay, first thing, maybe those girls that you want, you seem to want, maybe you shouldn't want those girls. Maybe you should want girls who are a bit more humble. Right? Who are actually willing to build with you, who are willing to sit with you where you are and then just like grow together. That seems like a better bet, doesn't it? Rather than like, oh, I've made it to the plateau, let me try to get this bee. She come when the getting's good. She never did it when everything was difficult.
And you raise a good point, because I feel like this is why a lot of women relationships don't last, Because okay, you're a high value man,
Mm-hmm.
and you have all your shit together. What's going to happen when you don't have your shit together?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I feel like we're putting all these labels on the men and women, and we're just taking away like the humanity and the attraction and the real love that the relationship requires.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're coming from that perspective, fine. If you come from a perspective like, okay, marriage is a transaction or a relationship is just for financial stability, then fine. I get what you're saying with that. But if you're going to talk about I want to be happy and have a long-lasting relationship,
Loving one.
and a loving one, then I can't be chasing after some certain girls. I will just work with who work with me.
That's the thing, dog. That is exactly how I view it. Because and that's why it goes back to that same thing that I was saying at the start with like the whole thing with Hafiz specifically. Where, and again, I could be wrong. You know, so like full disclosure, I could be wrong here. But from what I gather, is like the baddies that he's trying to get with, it seems, or the baddies he talks about in videos or whatever. I'm like, dog, I don't see it with one. Because I don't think that's the type of person you are. I think you're just trying to play up to our role and trying to matriculate into high value, trying to matriculate into a certain relationship with a certain girl. And then you're going to get that, and it's not going to be what it could be if you were with a girl. Like, that's like you who have high value, right? Because I kind of think he already has it.
I do so too.
Right? And then you get that chick, and it's like, yo, this girl kind of nerdy like me, but she insightful like me, and she introspective like me, and she intuitive like me, and she like to help people like me. That to me are values that make more sense to pre and cultivate in yourself and to look in other people rather than I don't know, that's just how I feel.
I get that. I agree. And this whole idea of an alpha male and basically this like putting on that persona when you meet another girl. You know, that's another thing that I feel like detracts from finding something genuine.
If that's what you're interested in. Because some niggas, again, they don't care about that. They just care about getting. Because like in high school, dog, all you care about is just get the girl. Whatever it takes, get the girl. Then at some point, it kind of dawns on you, I can't do that, you know. I can't just get the girl, because sometimes I can get the girl and then fuck myself up in the long run, because that's not what I really want.
True. Yeah. Facts.
All right, so I guess we're going to kind of now flip it to women and the high value women and what they do in order to get men.
You know, I'm glad we are having this topic, Jason, because it reminds me, it literally just reminded me of a video, another video I wanted to talk about. It was a TikTok video of a woman laughing at other high value women or independent or intelligent women, because statistically it says most intelligent women remain single.
Fuck.
Yeah, so
that's interesting.
So she's like, yo, all the women who are out there who are intelligent and still trying to look for a man, they don't realize that the problem is the men aren't stepping up or aren't as smart as they are, the spin that she had on it was like, yo,
very interesting.
Basically, if you're a smart woman, you're not going to want a man because you're independent enough to take care of yourself. And I was like, wow. So high value man over here trying to, you know what I mean?
Yo, dog.
That's just like, no matter how you try, and that is what I was saying. I see where Hafiz is coming from. Work on yourself, get better, get your money. You know what I mean? Get your money, take care of yourself. Health is wealth. All these things. But you see, if you go in and tell me to do all that to get a woman, I think it don't make no sense.
It's ass backwards. In my
opinion. I don't think it makes sense, because that woman was making a good point. And a lot of intelligent women that I come across, a lot of times, all they want is just like a man with money. When it comes down to the women who are earning and the high value woman, A lot of times, if it's a truly independent woman, she's not necessarily looking for a man to match her. You see me? She's not necessarily looking for a man to match her.
Yeah.
You can tell me that that's how. I don't know the statistics on it, so
I think some are.
You see me?
I think some are, but not all of them.
Not all. You know what I mean? Because as far as I know, and as far as I know, what I see is that if she's fully independent to the point where she, like say she's the CEO of some company that makes millions or billions a year and she's filthy rich, she's just looking for somebody to be loyal and be honest.
Pretty much.
You understand?
Yeah, someone that can support her
and somebody can support her and hold her down. You know what I mean? But the question you're going to ask now is how much man can do that?
See, this is where the argument comes in, where it's like you can get very high value. It's going to be very hard to top that. So, what is the thing? What is the factor that is actually going to give you any fighting chance? And honestly, it'd have to be love, dog. I can't see any other fucking one. You have to genuinely rate the person. You have to genuinely care about the person. Then we have to genuinely rate you, care about you as well. And if you don't start there, I don't know where else to start.
Yo, going back to the podcast with Kafiz and his friend, I just remember what pissed me off. So they were like, "Oh, you lose respect for him, don't, because he never have enough money."
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
they said that. That's true.
I was like, yo, so you say your respect is tied to the amount of money you're making?
And then also, it kind of comes off very accusatory towards the girl who was with the nigga from time.
You understand? And so it's like they make it seem as if, okay, all men who don't, and they also accuse him of being a weak man.
They said that?
Yeah, man. They did.
Fuck.
They did.
Rough.
You know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, boy, you don't know this nigga like that. I was like, I guess they said they saw it on her page or whatever. But I'm like, you really don't know the nigga like that. So
you can't pass judgment.
Yeah, exactly. And then in my head, I was like, yo, so are you then saying to me, what if 5 years from now, this nigga get him shit together? You know what I mean? Is it that, okay, whenever you get your shit together, we can work, and then if you fall off again or leave, and we get it together, we work again. Is that what relationship is now?
You see, but alright, so let me answer this question by going back to what you said initially. Because to me, it just came across as like, yo, it's so interesting that the lady that you saw in the TikTok gave the answer in the way she did, where it's like, yo, the reason that you can't probably get a man intelligent woman is because you're intelligent. That is the factor, right? Because you can take care of yourself and you're a go-getter and you're a boss bitch and all that shit. That means, say, you basically disqualify yourself from getting a man because that's the man role.
Right.
And so you're playing the man role and the female role, and so as a result, there's nothing for them to do.
For them to,
But again, it's like niggas really out here still in the fucking 12th century BC, dog. What the fuck? Like seriously, we're still pair bonding simply because of survival. I'm not saying that like society is fantastic and there's no problems in our economies. No, I'm definitely not fucking saying that shit. But what I am saying is, you're trying to go for a relationship like you're trying to go for a fucking business
like
proposal.
A job, you know what I mean?
It's an emotional thing. You're not going to work that way.
And again, I know why they might sound like they're coming off that way. Because I have seen another interview where that's literally what the interviewee was saying. He was like, yo, honestly, you need to be with somebody who can match your lifestyle and match you business-wise. And I was like, all right, to each his own. But what's the longevity of that?
I swear, like I don't. Maybe it's because we're not in such a capitalist country.
And that's what I was saying. Remember we started by saying, probably because I'm living in Jamaica, I'm not exposed to their culture.
You did say that.
Well, here is a little bit different.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit different.
Yeah,
and
we don't run down money the same.
the same way.
We run down money,
but not the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, dog. It's funny. I was talking to her sister, and she was literally saying, like, yo, you know what's interesting about all my friends? They all have it. So as a result, they're just so independent that the whole thing with men going to be more awkward. Which
is why I was saying what I was saying to you earlier, which is, remember when I was talking about such girl? We're saying, when it comes on to like interacting with men, she can feel them out and she can, because she has it made already. She has money, she has what she wants. She probably don't have her house yet, but...
Wait, this is the girl in the TikTok?
No, man. Such girl, man.
Oh!
Yeah, man. So, we are surrounded by... we're in a generation where the women are getting to a point where they can take care of themselves. Yes, and so it's like an evolution. So, the smarter women realize that they don't need, or they don't necessarily need to depend on a man to provide, or depend on a man to do stuff that they can do for themselves. They're looking for, I feel like it's an evolution. I feel like they're now looking at men the way men look at women. And I'm not talking about the majority of the women now, guys. I'm just talking that subset of intelligent, high earning women.
Independent women.
Yeah, independent women. So I'm not talking the ones that are like, you need to buy my baby McDonald's when we're going on a date. I'm not talking those women. You know what I mean? I'm not talking to women who will be like, oh, when we're going out on a date, you need to bring me a gift. Or if you don't bring me a gift on the date, that's a red flag. You know, or you need to pay for the babysitters for my kids when we're going out on a date. I'm not talking about them women there.
Yeah.
You understand? I'm talking about the ones who don't need any of that. Them just need somebody to love them and be there for them. You understand? And as a matter of fact, it's funny that it's coming back to my memory. I don't know if this helps my point, but even at that movie, the Steve Harvey book movie thing, man.
Did you think like a man or something?
Think Like a Man. There was one woman in that Taraji P, the role Taraji P played in that movie, where she was a high value woman and she wanted love, and this guy never have nothing. You understand? But she loved him. You know, she ended up breaking up with him because she thought, oh, I need somebody to match my wealth or whatever. But the truth is, she realized, and which is what, I'm like, that book is before its time, because which is what is really happening now. She realized, I don't necessarily need a man for the money or for provision. I just need someone who will be loyal to me and take care of me whenever I'm down and be emotional support. You know what I mean? And be damn good in bed. You understand?
It doesn't hurt.
And that's it. You know, and it's the same way men from time immemorial looked at women. I think the only difference is we were like, oh, you need to be able to wash, cook, and clean. But nowadays, I feel like we don't care about that shit anymore either.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's like all of those external things are being stripped away, and the core important portions of a relationship is what we're faced with now. You understand?
Well
and so you know what I mean? And so if you're not into the core intimacy and the core depth of that relationship, then you just go and find yourself going around in circles, which is why people who are afraid of commitment, people who don't like sharing, that's why all of these people have issues.
But you know, like honestly, like you said it so well, because for me, I look at it and I'm like, as much as women don't need men, like intelligent women don't need men, I mean, a lot of men don't need women either. But more specifically, they don't need commitment from women. They just have sex with women anyway because, you know, they're visual and them like feel upon this and touch up that and
which is where I see society going. You know what I mean? Which is where it's going. So like you have the subset.
All man them I get them own sex toys, you know, dog.
Yeah,
Women are obsolete.
man them a buy them own dolly.
That's what I'm saying, dog.
You know what I mean? So yeah, you see where I'm going with this, Jason. You see where I'm going. So I'm not going to say you don't have the subset that going to be like, oh, well, I still want to be traditionally treated this way. That's always going to be there. But there's a hybrid growing. A hybrid. Where it's like, yo, I'm rich, I'm taking control. And I think that's what a lot of men are speaking out on. I think, I don't remember which channel I was watching. And they're talking about how the masculinity in women. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think it's the same roommates thing too, you know.
Could be.
Yeah, because they're like, women are becoming too masculine or taking up too much of the gender role of a man. Mm-hmm. And so it's becoming unattractive. Because now, what should men, what can men do? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? What do we do now?
Even though, in a way that might pose a problem, but realistically, does it really pose a problem? I don't think so. Because, well, it kind of does, because it depends on where it's coming from, right? Mm-hmm. If you're a woman and you're trying to be more masculine for the same reasons why some men try to become more feminine, you're probably fucking up yourself, right? There might be some kind of resentment you have to your own sex. So you're like, okay, the other sex has that, so I'll just become that in order to then be able to facilitate whatever the fuck I feel like I'm lacking. Because I know some women are like, yo, I don't want to be dependent on anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't want to have to go through what my mother did go through.
I don't need no man to help me make any decisions.
Right. Great. And so, as a result, you just end up in a situation where, okay, great, so you're able to do this and get that, and you're independent and fantastic, but the loneliness aspect does kick in. And I feel like people feel like, you know, I have my girlfriends and things, really, so we're good. And trust me, them have them girlfriends, because them girlfriends is just like them. Them not really the shit. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. So people just do this thing now where it's just casual sex, and that is supposed to facilitate the sexual urges, or you fucking masturbate or whatever, that fulfills the sexual urges. But there's still there's a deeper yearning, which is just connection, that's still not being addressed.
That's exactly, and because nobody really talks about what that connection really is. Because the depth, as I said, the depths and the core of a relationship has now been blurred, and people believe that what we believe was the depth or the core of the relationship has now shifted. Because now, imagine Mary Jane in 1785. Mary Jane she's a woman, she can't afford certain things. She wasn't getting certain jobs. You know what I mean?
She can't work. It's probably illegal for her to work.
You see me? The quality of man she would be looking for is obviously, alright, top priority, earning man. Second, him look good. You know what I mean? Hopefully.
Yeah. I'm not even sure people were marrying for love back then, though. It was just survival.
It's just survival, you know what I mean? Okay. Oh, so I'm doing well. Oh, well, I'm going to be with him because, you know, him own this X business and Y business and...
Oh, my parents set it up for me. You know what I mean? It's still arranged. I think at that time, it was still arranged.
You know what I mean?
Throughout the world. I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure, but something like that, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't think it was fully arranged, but what I said, the motive was, hey, I want to survive. So, he's working. Let me choose this guy. You understand? And then now, fast forward to 2021, it's like, oh, hey, I can provide for myself. Wait, why do I need to get married again?
Jasmine not going on the street right now.
You know what I mean?
That's not a thing.
You know what I mean? I said, no, people choose them. No, what they have left to choose from is, she want a gangali, a man who can string her up in a bed. Or, well, let me go down this route of actually going into an emotional entanglement, something more
Shout out to Jada. Okay.
You know what I mean? Something more deep. You know what I mean? And see where we go. But most people, again, Jason, most people are going to choose the depths.
No, you see, but you know why they're not gonna choose the depths, though, right?
Because it's work.
Exactly. It's difficult.
It's difficult, bro.
We would have to transcend the differences between the male and female principles in order to have any kind of peace and any kind of semblance of anything. But the fact is, until we do that, society's kind of fucked.
Yeah,
So,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's like, and again, any statistician out there or, and I call them people, anthropologists who can talk about history and whatever. You know what I mean? The fact is, in my mind, the way I see it, because we never, there is no solid need, no tangible need that people can see like they used to see back then. You know what I mean? So like, oh, well, food, shelter, clothing, all right, I need all of this, and if I go and get married, because it's easier to be with this man to get this, let me do that. You know what I mean? Or for a man, oh, well, you know, chef too can wash, cook and clean, but now I can go Chick-fil-A, can buy my own food, or I can cook it myself. There's a laundromat down the road. You know what I mean?
That's the thing, because like men have been feminized because men never used to cook, they never used to clean. I can do all that shit. Well, all right, we can pause on the cook part, but everything else, yeah, I'm pretty good at that.
You know what I mean? Or we can hire a helper, which is another thing that, but then it wasn't as, black people never have helpers back then, bro.
Yeah, that's true.
It's now that we start getting our own money, we're like, well, we're going to like white people and have helpers.
Yeah. Back in the day, we were helping each other.
You know what I mean? Exactly. And so now, when you look at all these modern changes, it's like certain things start becoming obsolete. And so it's like, no, you have, as I said, you're either going to choose, let's get intimate for intimacy's sake, or let's go this route where we're just having sex and it's just vibes. You understand?
Yeah.
And most people go choose just vibes. Because intimacy takes work.
Yeah. I mean, you have to be vulnerable.
I don't want to talk about past traumas and how them affect my current relationship. No!
But
What kind of boring man this? We just want to fuck.
right? Yeah. But then you see, this is why it goes back to where Haviz and Chris have a point, in the sense that in the grand scheme of things, you have to really look at the fact that, like, that's why if you can't do that for yourself, then you fucked.
Yeah.
So that's where
that's
once
what I
again
said. Remember I
they
said,
have a point.
They have a point. Remember I say no?
You did.
From where they're coming from, they're good to have a point. But I just don't personally, I just don't want to go down that road. I'd rather sit down and wait until we can find a woman who pre the way I pre. And we can make it work. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I mean, I know for me, like, I took that self-improvement route, especially after the breakup I had in 2012, because I knew that, like, okay, I have some problems that like I need to deal with this shit. It's things that she probably could gauge, but I never like expressed it. And then when I then realized, but you didn't actually talk about that, I was like, oh yeah, that's true. Why did I not even consider the fact that I was hiding shit technically? Granted, I was hiding it from myself. Oh shit, that makes it even worse. Rotted. Okay, so I have to be vulnerable with myself first before I can even be vulnerable with anybody else.
Exactly.
So you don't know, like, you did that, you learn your lessons there, you take your lumps there, so, but in the grand scheme of things, like, it is not only necessary, it's just good. It's good to know who you are.
Agree.
Right? So that when you know who you are, you know exactly where you're supposed to go. And you know exactly who can come with you, or who you can go with.
The topics that we're on also now leads me to just a mini discussion about, because remember when we're talking about money and earning, it just makes me think about a conversation I was having with my mom about jobs. You know what I mean?
Steve?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
That's a career on a whole, like earning money. And this is another like level to the thing in our environment that I feel like we need to address as well. And this is why I wish I could remember the guy's name. The one that a lot of people don't like because of a lot of women don't like because he always
Kevin Samuels?
Is that his name?
The guy that did the video with the lady that was you're not a 10.
Yeah.
Kevin
him.
Samuels, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I respected something he said. And this is why I think the idea of a high value man is lost on a lot of people because they think it means you have to be a lawyer or a doctor.
Or a gunman.
Or a scammer. You need to be a high value person. But the truth is, you have blue collar jobs out there that can get you where you need to get to.
That's true.
You understand? And so, what he was saying is that, given society, and again, the man I give the American perspective, but when you really even take it to our little Jamaican island here, and you how the job market is, how many people can get up and be like, oh yeah man, I'm earning $500,000 a month?
Like 4.
You understand?
40.
And then it just led me to even think that, alright, if I can't earn that, why these women looking for man who can earn that? And them can't earn that for themselves.
I mean, people tend to try to date outside of their thing. It's like the hypergamous thing that red pill people always talk about. Where it's like, I'm always going to try and date up. Always try and date up, right? Men start to do it too nowadays. But women specifically were the ones that, in history, they're always trying to date up. And so I think that is why they do that. Because they want, like, social mobility.
I guess.
But you got a different answer?
I don't know, bro. It's just... there's no different answer. The answer is they want social mobility. It's an easy way to, as I said earlier, make it out. You know what I mean? And this is me talking about just the average person now, because it's not everybody going to be able to reach a point where like, I have a job that pays me $500,000 or more a month. Jamaican dollars, of course.
Or US.
Or US. You know what I mean?
Pounds, euros,
you know what I mean?
yen, space bucks.
So it's like, okay, if I'm not that person, how do I become that person? And again, this is another point I wanted to make earlier. And you can bash me for saying this, guys, but I feel like women have it easier with that than men. Because a woman can easily be like, okay, I don't have this much money, but let me just put myself together and find this guy who is going to pick me up. Because, you know what I mean?
Of course, Doug, I mean.
I always say this, I always trouble my sister in them with this. It's like, I only want poor,
Listen, that's the point, dog. Like, I'm telling you, historically speaking, women never had to necessarily earn. That was just not their thing. Just take care of the house.
Yeah, man.
Take care of the kids.
I remember.
That was the thing. That's why if a woman was not able, like if she was barren or was able to give birth or something, that was the shame for them.
That was the shame. Because
if a man couldn't provide, that was the shame for him.
If you can't have kids and because even if you got, again, don't take this out of context, guys. Even if you're like the worst looking person on earth, you know what I mean, but you can't have kids and you can wash, cook and clean, you're a fine man. It might take you a little longer, but you're a fine man. But it's like it's like, no, if you don't, if as a man, that don't work for us.
Not really.
You know what I mean?
Like, you can't put it on your resume unless you're dating a very, again, masculine type of woman. Then that you're like, no, I need a man that can do these things. You can do that. Yeah, man, we can do it. Okay, all right. Come fuck my pussy. All right. I don't know. Like, that's the type of thing. Like, you'd have to look for like that balance in that sense. But again, it still goes back to like, but if it's still transactional in nature. Then it's like, but then I could just make transactions with other people. It's just business at this point. Don't take it personal. Don't take it personally. It's just business, you know what I mean? You do the same thing if you're in my position, right?
That's why I say, yo, when I was talking to mom about jobs, you start realizing the world you live in, you know what I mean? A girl can be unemployed. And I remember the question she posed to me, and I was like, yo, this is so unfair. A girl can be unemployed, and the man is expected to be like, okay, I'll just step up to the plate.
Yeah.
Well, then a man get unemployed now. Woman is like, yeah, moving on. This is not a man. This is not a man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say though, bro. Ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we're basically at the end of the podcast, but I guess to summarize everything, like, how would you summarize it?
How would I summarize it?
Yeah. I'm trying to compile everything.
I think I just say stay in your lane.
That's
you
good.
Know what I mean? Stay in your lane. Just do what you know you want to do for yourself. If you want to be a high value man and look for certain type of women, fine. You know what I mean? If you decide to say, okay, cool, I'm okay with what I have, I'll work with it, that's fine as well. You know what I mean?
I guess for me, like, it's all about, like, be careful how you define high value man in the first place.
True.
Because, like, yeah, because there's niggas out there that have crazy money, can get girl, they're attractive, all that shit. They're still not necessarily high value because they're emotional fucks. So as a result, it's like, are you really high value? You just basically just putting the value on externals, no internals, and you think that's going to be enough to get you out the... I know, dog. Like, it just don't make sense. But
it don't make sense at all.
In the grand scheme of things, just, yeah, stay in your lane. Know your lane.
Yes.
Know your lane. Stay in the lane. If it's a lane that you want to be in and you feel comfortable and natural in it, I think that's your lane.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to be something that you're not,
careful.
You're gonna have a fucking problem. That's the way I see it. But anyway, guys, it's been real.
Yeah, man. Pick up on yourself.
Yeah, man. Another episode in the books. We will be back next week.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself.